Okay, welcome. I believe we're on week 17, which is so wild. I know, right? Isn't it? I mean, it's just crazy, like how quickly things go. Um, anyway, but I'm really excited to walk you all through this process. We actually did a little mini version of this process on my Quantum Success Shift, the free event that I did in August, but we're gonna kind of like take it a layer deeper and really kind of get into it. And it's so wild because I did this process for the first time in August. No, wait, was it August? I forget, in the summer of last year. And I did it around this situation that I have going on that I've been telling you about with my veil house that's been like a total nightmare. And at that point, I was a stress case. It seemed like I was like in an impossible situation and it was awful. And I, I did this process, and it was literally like a couple weeks later that literally I found this lawyer who I had talked to over 10 lawyers actually to try to see like what can be done. And every single one was like, nope, can't, nothing can be done. Nothing can be done. Oh, if you can try and sue, but it's going to be really expensive and you're probably not going to win and all this stuff. And then all of a sudden I found this lawyer that was like, no, 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 there is a problem with this contract. And this whole thing could potentially be void. And I was like, what? Anyway, and he's like, and I'll take it on a contingency, which no, like literally, I was like praying for something like that. And nothing was working. I went through every avenue. I talked to the owner. Anyway, it was just an impossible situation. And I did this and things started to shift. And I was like, oh my God, that's wild. So I think that there's so much power in this. And I've been working with this woman who, um, invented this modality. She calls it source code. I think I've maybe mentioned it before. So it's like she says that there's 12 coping styles that every single human being have. Um, she was a psychologist for 18 years and she basically recognized this pattern that everybody has one of the, or like some combination of these 12 coping styles that we all just learned from when we were little ones. And then they just play out in different areas of our lives. And then, so then doing this recoding the matrix of reality helps us get to, because if we think about what is the quantum, it's like the most subtle layer of reality. It's the finest, smallest things in this experience. And this is why we kind of have to like go into meditation and really feel into it. But then what happens is this coding that we have and these coping styles, it's a fractal pattern. So it repeats in all areas of our lives. So down from like the smallest things to even like, the way we do laundry or wash dishes to bigger things, which is like, our career, how we make money, our relationships, the house we live in, how we just experience our day to day. So it literally is repeating in all areas. So we're going to go into one of these things today, and it's going to, like, oftentimes when we work with it in this way and work with this, like basically we're going to mirror the pattern back to ourselves by just taking a look at the quantum, not the concrete problem. We're going to write down the concrete problem. I'll take you through the process, but we're going to kind of look past it to see like, okay, what is like the core of this? And then we'll mirror it back to ourselves. And just in doing that, oftentimes things in our lives start to dissolve and resolve on their own. And literally, I had that experience with this, which was really cool. So, any questions about that? All right, let's do a little meditation, just kind of ground us in, and we'll do winds, and then we'll go into this. So, just go ahead and shut down your eyes and take a big deep breath in through your nose and sigh it out. Just relaxing, landing into this space, landing into your body, bringing all of your attention back to you, back to the now moment. Take another big deep breath in through your nose and exhale. Do a little body scan, see if you're holding on to any tension anywhere. And just tell your body to totally relax. Take one more big, deep inhale in through your nose, the biggest one you've taken all day. Hold it at the top. Take in one little more sip of air. And then slowly exhale everything out through the mouth, long and slow down to the very bottom. Now just let your breathing return to normal. And place your attention like in your belly or in your heart center. And I want you to think about that big, beautiful vision you have for your life, that big, beautiful goal. Just bring it to mind. Imagine that it's happening now, here. We're all together celebrating this goal for you. Yay, you did it. You feel on top of the world. Really take note how your body feels. Anchoring this into your heart. And when you're ready, you can start wiggling your toes, blinking your eyes open, and coming back. Alrighty, who doesn't win they want to share?
Me. Um, I had an in-person client meeting today, which is
Ooh,
atypical because my territories are like all over the country. But being in New York, I had a client visiting, and it was an awesome meeting. It's just nothing replaces a handshake and just like that in-person conversation. So
totally.
highlight of my week, probably.
Amazing.
Thanks.
Cool. And Courtney, oh my God, I forgot to ask too, how did the interview go?
So, um, couple things. I'm interviewing for two positions.
Oh,
So one, I've interviewed, I think, four times now,
right.
four
Yeah.
rounds. So the next round, now I'm seeing another
Oh,
person
wow. Another round. Dang.
and then another person next week.
Okay.
Um,
This is the Alabama firm.
yeah,
Okay. And then the other one is the one that sounds really
yeah.
exciting. Okay, cool.
And I talked to the recruiter on Monday, and I just myself, like, she sent me like, why do you want to do this role? And we just kept it like very casual in terms of like
Cool.
just
I love
fun and light.
Yeah.
And like she was just awesome and very organized and very much like this is what to expect. You're going to meet with these four people. And like, would you be open to coming in person? And just very like organized, which I really appreciated.
Yeah. And where is that? Where is the in person?
Um, so they're at based out of St. Louis, but they
Oh,
also have people in New York.
oh, okay. So would
Yeah.
you go to New York for it?
Yeah.
Oh, okay,
Yeah.
cool.
So, but I just felt like I was just myself.
Yeah, I love that.
Yeah.
And that's what we want.
That's good alignment right there.
Yeah.
That's right.
Like what you just described, that's alignment.
It
Yep.
really is, right? Because like when we have to contort ourselves for something, then that's how we know that maybe that's not it. Right? So yeah, when we can just like relax and be ourselves, that's awesome.
Yes. It felt like a win. And I also like meditated before it to just like ground myself.
Mm,
And I felt like that helped me.
Awesome. Yay.
Yeah.
Well, keep us posted. What
Thank you.
about, I know you said you meditated today, or was that yesterday? I can't even remember now.
2 days in a row.
Okay, awesome. Great work. Claudia, were you able to do your money date?
Yes, so
Yay!
didn't do it on the I didn't stay accountable on the chat, but you know how I said I was going to do it weekly?
Yeah.
Guess what? I ended up doing it every day.
Oh,
Like
really? Oh,
every night I
awesome.
just check and I'm like, okay, let me see if everything is, cleaned up in
I
order,
love
So I'm like, oh, okay. And I think it was sort of like it's I tricked my mind because I'm like, I'm not going to do it daily. So let me just set the goal to
it.
do it
Yes.
weekly.
Yeah,
And then I
totally.
set it weekly and then my mind goes like, well, you could do it now, or you could wait last minute. So I just ended up doing it every day. So
I love it.
yeah.
That's
Amazing.
awesome.
And I listened to that podcast that I sent you all with James Clear. It was so good. And or I don't know if you guys listened to it, but I think it's a really good listen because he talks about like cues, like how can we like set ourselves up for success? And it's, first of all, just like starting really small, right? And then he's saying like put it out in the open, right? Like put something like for you, maybe you have like a journal or something, like put it right where like it's gonna be, yeah. And so that like you remember, oh, there's the cue to do it. And I think that that really helps. Even like my vitamins, like I have my vitamins right on the kitchen counter in like this corner because I'm like, I need to remember to take these, right? And so, yeah, so like when we can see it, then that's like the cue that reminds us to do it. All
Is
right.
there like have you ever read anything about like if people spend more money, then more money comes to them or different things that people do that creates more money?
Yeah. So I love reading about money stuff. Actually, I just finished this book called Happy Pocket Full of Money, and it was really good. But okay, so first of all, I will say that there's a universal law that says giving and receiving are one. They say they're actually the same thing. So I like to think like when I'm spending money, first of all, I don't even like to use the word spend. I like to say circulate. I'm circulating money, right? Because we're just taking ours and putting it out into the world, into the system. It's making other people wealthier, and then it is going to come back to me multiplied, right? And so I like to think about that like, okay, I'm sending money. This is what wealthy people do is they send money out and then money comes in. They don't feel constricted as I send it out. So start paying attention to like what happens as you spend money. I mean, obviously, like maybe with little things, but even you can tune into that. Like, okay, what does it feel like in my body? Do I tighten? Do I like mull over things? And not to say that like we should be irresponsible, but um, we want to just be like, okay, I feel really great about sending this out, right? Like, how can we do that, right? How can we just get into a good feeling state? I actually even had a teacher one time too that said, like, think about something you love and pretend that's what you're sending out. So, like for me, I'll think about pink roses, like, I'm sending out like 35 pink roses, right? So you can just do something that like takes us out of that constriction and into that more openness so that it comes in. The other thing is just literally feeling into the feeling of wealth. Like, what would it feel like to be wealthy? What does it feel like to have an infinite supply of money, right? Money is an infinite supply. I've always had enough. It just comes in from the universe. I send it out, it comes back. And really feeling into that. Um, yeah. I like to look at a plant too. A plant is like such a beautiful thing to look at and kind of tune into like the frequency of the plant. Like a plant just like continues to grow and grow, right? It's just this um life force energy that's flowing through it. And a lot of plants, you cut them and then they still will grow, even cut off from the source, right? Like a eucalyptus or something. And so I like to try to tune into that type of energy of like that life force that's around all the time. Um, yeah, I hope that helps.
Yes.
Does that answer your question? Yeah. Yeah, I think just kind of really tuning and then and like I love what Claudia is doing too because it's so funny because I was even thinking about this yesterday. Like after I quit my job, I like because I was so used to making a lot of money. And so I had all these things that were like just automatically taken out every month, right? And I never looked at them. I never was like tracking anything. And then like 2 years into my business, maybe even a little more, where I was like, I gotta start like I should probably start paying attention to some of these things. And I like went through and I was like, yeah, because if I'm like avoiding things, that's not a good way to be either. And so I'm like, okay, how can I like tend to my money, like, and really care about not to be like miserly about it, but to really see, like, track every inflow and outflow. And I started doing that. And even just in the tracking of my money, more started to come in, which is cool because, like, I don't know if you've ever heard that, like, phrase, like, what gets measured gets managed. And so, like, if we're measuring something all the time, like, even like our weight or our spending, it's going to be managed. And as we focus on our money, it's hopefully going to expand because what we focus on expands. And we want to feel good about it. Like, so I make sure that, like, when I am doing my tracking, that I feel good and it feels good, that I'm not doing it from this, like, And at first, like, actually did feel really good to, like, get control over it too. Cause I was like, I noticed that I was being charged for years. I was being charged for Netflix twice a month. I had some other person that was like using my Netflix account and it was like double charging me. Um, and like I just started to like notice all these leaks and I was like, oh my gosh, this is like ridiculous. And so I like got all of that out and I was like, okay, like now I know every single thing that's coming in and out and it feels so much better. So anyway, yeah, we want to like treat money as like a relationship, like a person.
Yeah. I like the word leaks that you use. That's a good way to look at it. And I had a conversation with one of the wholesalers because I mean, this translates into almost everything you do. Like you said, it like ripples out like these 12 different wet
Mhm.
styles that you mentioned. And so often like people who get stuck in that survival mode.
Yeah,
And a good question to ask yourself, like, is my environment or whatever like you're working on, is it showing me that I'm living in survival mode or am I thriving?
mm,
And the kind of approach that I took to my exercise was like, okay, like I don't need to figure everything out. I just need to tidy up, clean it up. And now I'm gonna like include the leaks. Like
mm.
let me make sure nothing's leaking. Let me make sure like
Yeah,
just like my house. Like is it my dream house? No, but it's a house and I can maintain it. And same thing with my business. Is it where I want it to be? Like not yet, but I have what I have. Let me just clean it up.
yeah.
Let me take care of it.
Yeah, totally. Like, and and I think that that's important. Like, even if it's not our dream house, even if it's not where we'd prefer, but can we still treat it with respect and love it? Because if we can't, like, the another house is actually not going to solve that. So we need to like love where we're at. And then the same thing even with the money too. Like, we think more money is going to make us feel richer. But if we don't feel rich now, no amount of money is actually going to have us feel that way. And I can attest to that because I was making a lot of money. I had a ton of money in the bank and I still was like, ugh, like so like feeling that scarcity, right? And I would fantasize about winning the lottery and I would think to myself, like, oh, okay, like I would need like $100 million to feel safe. Like that's like insane, right? Like I would like start, I'd be like, okay, 10 million. I'd be like, oh no, like 50 million. No. Like I would need 100. Like it just is like such a silly thing, right? And so yeah, so we just need to like it's always about now. How can we be in this moment now? How can we, have a different relationship? And yeah, I'm not in my dream house either. Tim and I are living in this shitty rental house, and he hates it more than I do. And but I keep being like, let's tidy it up, like let's make it like nice. And he's like, no, I don't want to do that. And he's like, I just want to get out of here. I'm like, no, I just don't really think that that's like let's like not resist it so much. Like, I'm like, one day we're gonna look back and be like, remember when we were in that little house? That was so fun. Anyway, so okay.
I feel like actually that's like a big part of a lot of like successful couple stories is like when they started their
Yeah.
business or whatever, and it's like back when.
Yeah, right. I totally think that. Like, and that's why, I believe that really. And he's just in kind of a tough spot just because like his divorce is still ongoing, which is just insane. It literally is like the never ending thing. Um, and so he kind of feels like he can't do anything until that is finalized, and he kind of can't. Um, but yeah, so it's just like we're just gonna make the most out of this. It's fine.
We'll
If
get some cute throw pillows.
Yeah, totally.
since we're talking about this, I have a question, and I kind of know the answer, but I like to,
Yeah.
refresh my mind, and you always lay it down straight up. Um, you talk about imagining like the ideal. Like, what if that feels physically uncomfortable?
If the ideal feels physically uncomfortable, interesting. Well, I think that just shows you that maybe your like system is not ready to hold something like that, right? And so,
Right.
yeah, and so you want to just imagine it so much until it feels just normal, right? Because if it feels we can never manifest anything if it feels unnatural, actually. Like the only way we start to manifest something is if it just feels natural, like our new identity, right? Where it just feels like normal and natural, like, oh, this has always been the way. If it doesn't feel natural, we have to keep imagining it until it does, until like our insides match what we want on the outsides, right? We really want to like get that congruent.
Uh,
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, very helpful.
And then I would just like ask yourself and maybe journal about it. Like, why does this feel uncomfortable, right? And maybe it's just, new, I'm not used to it. Maybe there is still a part of you that's like, oh, I don't deserve that or something, and maybe you can just do some investigation that way and then just be like, oh, ha ha ha, now it came to the light. Now I'm aware that there's this limiting belief here. Okay, let me just like return it to the light. It's in the light of my consciousness now, right? Like we're shining the light on it. Literally imagine it like in your hand. Imagine like light coming to it and being like, okay, that's it. It's done now.
Thanks.
Yeah. All right, are we ready to do this quantum process? Okay. So I want you to think of a problem in your life. And I want you like a concrete problem, and I want you to be as specific about it as possible. So I don't like, let's try not to get into like generalities like, oh, I never have enough money, or like, um, I mean, you could kind of go in that, but try to find like a very concrete problem, um, like yesterday, I was reviewing my finances and I was feeling so stressed about it because it feels like as soon as I get ahead, some goes out or whatever it is. I'm just like making up an example. Or like yesterday, the mailman came by and I got so mad because XYZ happened, or like, his, he didn't give me my check or whatever it is. So like try to think of like a concrete problem that's going on in your life. Maybe it's work related, maybe it's relationship related, maybe it's money related, whatever it is. But I want you to be like as concrete about it as possible. Like what is um and like you can, there's maybe metaphors in it, but I want you to just think about something that maybe it's again like I'm not happy at work right now because I feel overwhelmed and I feel like I can never get ahead. And as soon as I feel like I'm making progress, I come right back down. Um, like something like that. So I'm going to give you 4 minutes to write this problem out. And just try and write as much as possible in this form. And it's like I just did this right before because I just wanted to do the process before I taught it to you guys. So I have like, I wrote pretty big, but it's like 3/4 of a page. Just about 30 more seconds here. Okay. Be good? Okay, cool. So now we want to look through this problem and we want to see the code inside it. So I'm going to help you kind of dissect this thing. So the first thing that we do is we want to let go actually of the concrete. So we use the concrete just as one example, but like I said, these patterns typically are fractal patterns. So it's maybe one thing that's going on in our lives right now, but like this pattern has repeated. So we want to let go of the concrete. So we want to go through and I want you to look at what you wrote and cross out anything specific. So cross out any like specific concrete words, pronouns, places, people, and just X it out. And if you have a question about one, ask me, I can help you. Okay, so did you guys do that? Okay. Okay, so the next thing that we want to do is we want to scan for any metaphors. So circle them. So anything like um, getting traction, falls flat, get ahead um, and then can't sustain it, or like any type of metaphor like that. Um, and just circle the metaphor. And again, if you have any questions, ask me about the words or anything. Okay. Okay. The next one is look for any way that energy can move. So anything's physical or spatial. So if it's like stuck or feels hard or um, zips through, moving forward, moving backward, any type of physical or spatial. Like think about like, again, if you can imagine like a little blob of energy and it's like like moving somehow. Um,
How about the word building? Would that count?
can you maybe give me a couple more words how it's used?
Yeah, like building wealth.
Okay, so I would say that that's actually yeah, I would circle that as a movement. Wealth, I would say, is specific, so you can cross that out, but building, I would say is a way that energy can move because you can see that blob like building.
I have a sentence that says I'm finding myself comparing my results.
Mm. Yeah, so let's see.
Is comparing in a
Yeah, I'm trying to think. So I would circle comparing. It's actually going to be the next one. It's more of a feeling word. Um,
oh,
Result I would just cross out. I think that's specific.
okay.
But yeah, you could circle comparing. Okay. And then the next one is that emotions or feeling words. Okay. You guys good with that? Any questions on those? We're going to go to the next step on this. Yeah, just do like a scan through, make sure you kind of have everything. And it doesn't have to be perfect, but typically even like the first line or two is actually going to contain the code. Okay. All right, so now I want you to take, I don't know if you have to do it on another piece of paper, you could do it on the same, but I want you to create 4 columns. And the first column, it's going to say insides. The second column, outsides. The third column, ambient. And the fourth column, wish. And then once you have that, I want you to go through and if it's something for inside, it's something that like you feel inside. So like that comparing, Courtney, like that's something that you feel. So I would put that in insides. Um, if it's something, maybe it's like frustrated or feels stuck, if it feels like it's internally, then put it on insides. Put it in outsides if it's something like outside of you. So like if it's money that you're talking about and say like, oh, the money dries up or the money leaves or something like that, something outside of you, and just put those words, just the words that you circled that you're looking at, not the things, just the circled words. So if it's something outside of you, put that. If it's something like all around, like, oh, everything just feels shitty, then put ambient. If it's like inside and outside, like, oh, everything just feels stuck, everything feels difficult, everything feels hard, whatever it is, put it in ambient. And again, ask me if you have any questions about this, ask me and I can help. Um, and then wish if there's anything that you're like, oh, I just want to feel a prosperous abundance. I want it to feel easy. Anything that's like a wish, put it in the wish. And you might have some empty columns. Like usually, like for me, ambient usually isn't so prevalent. But just ask me if you have any questions.
I guess the one that I have that it's like outsides is to me like pretty much my whole thing is like feeling.
So
So,
it's all inside.
so it seems like it's like I'm feeling unmotivated. I'm feeling disconnected.
Hmm.
I'm not being
Mhm.
proactive. I'm not
Yeah,
getting.
that's fine. Yeah, just you can put it all on the insides.
Okay.
But maybe just even, scan to maybe there's something like, and I don't know if I'm saying this, but like, oh, I'm not being valued. That would be on the outside, right? Like coming in, I feel like I'm not valued. You could put on the outside, or like not supported, if you have something like that. Okay, Claudia's switching to her phone. Oh, let me get her in here. Okay, okay. I want you now to. So, are you done kind of classifying those? Okay. I want you to just take a couple deep breaths and I want you to just kind of come into your heart space. And I want you to look at that insides column. And I want you to see how the inside column is actually how it felt for you to be a child. It was how you mostly felt as a child. And just like kind of breathe into it, allow those feelings to come up. If any like sadness comes up, or, allow it to be there, but just kind of look at it with a lot of compassion. And then on the outsides, did you end up having any, Courtney?
I put your example of like it's more like not valued for everything I contribute.
Okay. Um, so for the outside, um, that's how a parent showed up. And this isn't to, blame our parents or be mad at them. It's just, you know, they had their own coping styles, they had their own issues, right? And so it was just how we perceived them showing up. So the outsides were how a parent showed up. And then the ambient is, how you felt, how everything felt, right? Everything just felt this way, hard or difficult, maybe, or whatever. And then we ache to feel what's in the wish column. That was like our longing. We really like ache to feel that. And so I want you to take a look at the first column, the insides. And I want you to circle the word for the insides that's really the most charged for you. And maybe it's even two, but one or two. And I want you to just, again, kind of close your eyes and like feel, like go into your heart space and just feel and just say to yourself, like, wow, there's really something about like about this word. No judgment, no stories, just literally feel into the energy of like what that word represents. And then do the same thing with the outsides. Pick a word that feels the most charged. And then just say again, like, wow, there's really something about blank. And just, again, just feel into like the energetic of it. Courtney, like for you, since if it's like not value, just feel like, maybe like small, like you can't do enough. Like just kind of, again, you don't need to like get into the story around it, but just kind of feel what that feels like. Now do the same thing with ambient if you have anything in ambient. No, okay. And then just look at your wish column. And if you didn't have anything written about wish, just kind of put like the opposite of what's in the insides column. And now just feel into that. Feel into like what those wish words would feel like. All right, how are you feeling?
It's like such a realization of a pattern in my life.
Right? Ooh, I just got the chills. Yeah, it's kind of crazy, right?
Like I can think of like from when I was a kid
Mm,
to now.
yeah, yeah, it's pretty wild, right? And it shows up, like I said, in the even in the smallest ways. Like even if, like for me, a big one for me as I've been doing this is frustrated. because that's one of my coping styles is, and everything feels like difficult. And everything from the smallest task to the biggest task, I have that. Like anytime I have to like call a place, like to make an appointment or something, like it comes up for me in everything. So it is just interesting how this like plays out in so many areas of our lives.
I think it's like this feeling of like disconnected. Like there's certain times where I feel very disconnected when something's like not really in alignment.
Mm,
And then I start to get jealous and start
mm,
focusing on other people.
yeah, I could totally relate to that. And disconnected is one of the coping styles. It's like the very first one. And again, these are formed from when we're a newborn to around like age 7. And it's just the way it's just how we coped. It wasn't that there was just factors that happened. Like if, like, one little thing could have happened and we interpret it in a certain way. And then we used these coping styles to just help us survive. And so it's not who we really are. Um, okay, cool. We're gonna do a little meditation now around this.
I just wanted to say that
Yeah.
this is a great process and very eye-opening every single time I do it.
Mm,
And part of like just quick share, I wrote like on the inside that it seems like it's never enough. Like survival is a big thing. And on the wish, I didn't put like the polar opposite. I put content and like a peaceful feeling, which is eye-opening to me because I think every time I tried to overcompensate, I went from like the extreme
mm,
deprivation to like extreme wealth, like the hundred
yeah,
million
yeah,
dollar wish
yeah,
of
yeah.
winning your lottery.
Yeah,
Like when I really what I wanted was just peace.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Because when we're living in that not enough, then we think, that we need that much, right? Because we're living in that not enough. But if we were living in enough,
Yeah.
enough is enough, right? It doesn't
Enough is
matter the
enough.
amount. Yeah. Um, yeah.
Yeah, and it's like you said, fragmented because my perfectionist like mentality shines through that, and I'm like, oh, so that's why. So yeah,
Mm,
very eye-opening and pulling on my emotional heartstrings. So
yeah.
love
Yeah.
this
That's why we want
process.
to have a lot of love and compassion for ourselves, right? Because
Yeah.
we didn't know we were doing what we thought we needed to do to survive.
I mean, to me, like it's just like the realization, like, oh my God, I don't want like tremendous billion-dollar wealth. I just
Right?
want content and peace
Yeah.
and a good life.
And we want to feel safe, right? We want to
Yeah,
feel safe.
safe,
We want to feel
exactly.
good and supported and just want to, yeah, live a good life. Totally.
Yeah,
Just
Yeah.
like
yeah,
a sense of ease.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. Yeah.
right, right. So,
And
anyways,
that's
okay.
probably why you get into this pattern of like, oh, I gotta work, I gotta try so hard, right? Because I'm like that too. Like, oh, I gotta get so much more, right? And then that's what then drains us. And we don't want that. And we don't want like that's not what we want either. Yeah, we just want to feel safe.
Yeah, yeah. And I mean it. I mean, I've gone through such a big progression from making like $20,000 a year to making $300,000 a year.
Mm.
And no matter where I am on that scale, it always felt the same.
Yeah, totally.
Always.
100%. I can relate to that so much because that's where I was. I've had to do a lot of the mindset work around money for sure. Um, yeah, that's why it's like one of my favorite things to talk about is money. Um, cool. All right, let's do a little meditation. We're gonna kind of feel into this fractal a little bit more and just follow my lead. Just take a big deep breath. Sigh it out. Another big deep breath in. So we were able to do this process and really see what is this code that is running our life? What are these feelings that feel so familiar to us? And And even as painful as they felt very familiar. And so we recreated them unintentionally over and over again. Take another big, deep breath in. And now we're ready to let this go. And ask yourself, are you really willing to let this go? Are you willing to go into the unknown? Because even though this has felt really icky and not good, there's something very comforting and familiar about it. So ask yourself, am I willing to let this go? I'm going to read a quote from Terence McKenna, who was this, I'll call him mystic. He wrote, "Nature loves courage. You make the commitment, and nature will respond to that commitment by removing impossible obstacles. Dream the impossible dream, and the world will not grind you under. It will lift you up. This is the trick. This is what all these teachers and philosophers who really counted, who really touched the alchemical gold, this is what they understood. This is the shamanic dance in the waterfall. This is how magic is done, by hurling yourself into the abyss and discovering it's a featherbed." Take another big deep breath in. We're ready to release these patterns. We're ready to hurl ourselves into the abyss. And now that we know what this fractal is that we've been living in, what this energetic is that we've been living in, we can recognize it when we run into it. We can say, oh, here's that familiar feeling. That's not me anymore. Hmm. And we can have compassion for that part of ourselves and grace, because we will fall back into that. It's so comforting, it's so familiar, it will pull us back in. And we just catch it and breathe. That's not me anymore. Think about that wish column. We can have that. In fact, we are already that. We can just choose to tune into those feelings now. Ease, peace, support, love, value, whatever it is. Take another deep breath. This is the new me. Anchor it in. And recognize that's not the truth of who we are. Those patterns, they're just that, they're just patterns. The truth of you is love. Those patterns might feel like a well-worn hoodie, but we're ready to take it off. Take one more big deep breath in. you can go be you now. When you're ready, you can come back. How did that go?
Feel like lighter.
Mm. It's just a really interesting thing, like when we mirror that back to ourselves, it kind of can just dissolve and resolve. And then we can also, again, notice when we're in that and be like, oh, there's the fractal again. That's not me anymore. And move out of it.
For me, it was a walking meditation, but a meditation nonetheless. And one thing that I wanted to share when when we talk about compassion, I think I've struggled with that a lot, like showing myself compassion because it has this connotation of like this soft, energetic feel. And I think sometimes in order to get through to myself, I need to at least at first approach it with a like a harder energy. And what came up for me was just this deep sense of respect
Mm,
for that part of me to like feel that and to manage and cope to get myself to where I am now, but I
yeah,
don't need it anymore. Like I
yeah.
respect it. And when I started with respect, then I was like, okay, now I can show compassion.
Mm,
And now I can say that was great. I don't need that anymore.
yeah.
So
Again,
it's easier to let
I
go
love
of
that.
that.
Yeah. It is kind of like that well-worn hoodie, right? Like if it's like it's okay, it's really comfortable, but I'm ready to let go of this. And it might be hard to let go of, but I'm ready, you know, like we're buying some new stuff now.
Yeah. Yeah, and that came up because in the beginning of the meditation, you also said like, well, once we imagined everything like that we don't like and that we don't want to replicate, you're like, I'm ready to let go of this now. And I honestly can say that like I wasn't
Mm,
in the moment. I'm like, no, if I don't work hard and struggle, how am I gonna make
mhm.
ends meet? So it was
Yeah.
still like a very distant idea.
Yeah. Yeah.
I feel like in every part of my life, like whether it's my thought processes or the way I'm eating or my physical activity, it's like at some point I get to a point in my life where I'm just like, I'm kind of over this. Like
Mm,
I'm over myself.
mm.
Like I don't want to live life or continue this way.
Yeah. Yeah, I understand that. And and correct me if I'm wrong, but it might be because you're on this like yo-yo of like, oh, I have to do everything perfectly. I have to like eat well, exercise, this. And then it's like, oh, fuck this. This is so hard. And then you go back down and then you come back up, right? And it's this yo-yo. But what if we just like created this like ease where it's not hard work and it's just learning to nourish ourselves in a good way, just making good choices like 55% of the time, working out or just even going for a walk, right? If like, I don't feel like going for a full workout today, I'm just gonna go outside and take a walk, get some fresh air, just move my body in some way. Or put on some music and dance for 15 minutes, right? I think it's when we like get to these extremes of like perfection that it's hard to sustain that. And I know those patterns very well.
That's interesting that you say that because, like, in work, it's like if I'm not the top salesperson, then I'm like, oh, well, like, what am I even doing?
Mm,
And then I get really unmotivated and really disconnected.
interesting. Isn't that funny too? That like, why do we put that pressure on ourselves? Like, oh, if I'm not first, then what's even the point? Like, you know.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, and so it's just kind of I'm not saying I don't want to discount it because I understand that feeling 100%, but it's kind of a crazy expectation that we hold ourselves to. And can we just allow ourselves to, when speaking of enough, can we allow ourselves to be enough without all the doing? Like, what if I want to have a lazy day of just like literally laying around in my pajamas? Can I still love myself in that space? Can I still love myself as I'm binge eating a box of cookies? That's been
It's
really
almost
hard.
like I'm like afraid I'm gonna get in trouble if I'm not like
Yeah.
sitting at my desk or if I don't pick up the Teams call when, my partner calls. Like I don't want to be judged for like being lazy or
Yeah, right. It's so funny. I'm like that too, right? Like, oh my God, if somebody called me lazy, that would be the worst thing in the world. And I've really kind of what's been really interesting is that I've unraveled a lot of that. But as I've lived with Tim, he's somebody who's always go, go, go. And so like if I like leave my dishes in the sink or something, like he gets like mad. And so I'm like, oh, I'm sorry, I'm sorry. And I'm like, no, like you chill out. It'll get done. Like you need to unwind that a little bit, right? Like,
I'm not actually sorry.
yeah. Um, but it's been kind of this like funny thing, and he looks at me because he obviously like he has to go out all day, like he's doing anesthesia in dental offices, and then he has his ketamine clinic, like he's out like hustling for his money all the time, and then he sees me where I'm here like on my laptop all day and go to the gym at noon or 9 or whatever, and he's like like he gets like jealous about it. And I'm like, yeah, but I created this intentionally, right? Very intentionally, because even in the start of my business, I was like a mad woman. And then I was like, no, 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 I can't do this. This is not what I want. So it takes some, unraveling some of those things and just being like, right, that's not me anymore. I'm not operating in that framework anymore. We're doing things differently. Things can be easy. Things like I don't have to wear all that weight on my shoulders.
Or prove myself to anyone.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. How doesn't that feel amazing? Like to be in this place of like, I don't give a fuck. Like, I don't need to prove myself anymore. Like, I'm just completely content with who and what I am, and that's it.
Yep.
That's like my wish for all of us. Because I still feel that very much.
Courtney, I was hearing you say that, and I couldn't relate more. And just I hope this is like a nice preview of what's to come because I mean, like you might still compare, but you might let go of a lot of judgment. And when you look at, somebody being number one and you're number 5 or 10, maybe your automatic thought becomes, wow, look at this awesome team I'm a part of. Look at the professionals that I get to compete with every single day. Like, how amazing is that? And I think I gather that from like a Buddhism teaching, but um, it's so easy to like fall into that. And I just know like there's like it does turn around you. Your mind starts automatically thinking good thoughts after a while of practicing this stuff.
Yeah.
I
And the other,
appreciate you saying that because like I feel guilty because I'm like, what a like how could I not be a girl's girl that's like obviously I'm like
Mm.
cheering on my other coworker and I want to see her succeed. But I'm like, no, like that part where it's like I want you to succeed, but I want to be number one.
Mhm.
That part is like the part that I want to release so badly and just be happy
Yeah.
for my teammate.
Well, you just said something there. It's just a part of you. So can you just love that part, that poor little girl inside who felt compared and who felt unloved unless she was like the number one. So can you just love that part of you? Like that's what happens to me. Because here's the thing too about women with other women. First of all, I think in our culture in general, we've been trained almost to like be pitted against each other. It's like conditioned. The second thing is actually like instinctually, cave women, when we were cave women, we had this comparison because we wanted to be the most pleasing. We wanted the man. We wanted we needed to be protected. And so we had this like innate comparison that we did with other women. And so it actually is like an instinctual thing inside of us. And then, layered on top of then the conditioning from our society, and then layered on top of your own personal experiences. And we have that, and I have that too. And basically, when I judge or feel that way, I literally that just go inside and I like love my little 5-year-old who doesn't feel good enough. Because that's what's happening, right? When we judge somebody else, it's because we're trying to avoid feeling something. We're avoiding a feeling. And so ask yourself, if I couldn't judge this person, what would I have to feel right now? And maybe it is that pain of not feeling good enough. And just allow yourself to feel it in that moment and be like, that's not true. I'm not recognized just by my outer accomplishments. I have a rich inner world of experience and life. I'm so much more than a freaking scoreboard, right? Yeah.
KPIs,
Yeah. And
dashboard.
something that helps me too, like when I do the whole comparison game, is like we don't know what's going on inside them internally. They might be suffering big time,
Mhm.
you know, and have even like like so mean to themselves, so like in horrible inside here that like they have to be doing these things. So we just don't know. One of the coping styles is also idealizing, which is actually a big one for me. And it's idealizing is we're always like ranking ourselves above or below people based on outer things, based on our appearance, based on money, based on accomplishments, because we were rewarded for that when we were little. And so then we start seeing the world like that, and it's exhausting. And so we want to remember that there's so much more to us than than this world of stacking ourselves.
Can I share a quick story?
Yeah, please.
So also around like KPIs, but this was like the real win yesterday for me, and I couldn't say this out loud in the office, but I can now because I left. Um, my boss and I have conversations checking in, and the last conversation we had was over the weekend where he was treating me like with the impression of like that I'm behind, that I'm not doing all my work. He said that I don't have the best time management skills, and I'm like, you
Oh,
should talk. You've never been to a meeting on time ever. But
aha.
anyways, that's not even like I respect and love my boss. I shouldn't say that. I'm not gonna talk shit about him. But the way he made me feel was very like I'm not good enough, right? That's what I felt like. And I was beating myself up because I was thinking that my teammates are doing all the work and they're getting all their work done, and I'm the one that's slacking and struggling. My teammates are getting recognized for accomplishments. Another teammate got named the captain for like this special project. So I'm feeling like crap, and everybody's getting, uh, yeah, like, what's the word I'm looking for? Like
Nice.
praised. Yeah,
Oh, mhm.
exactly. So Monday morning we start tracking our activity, and the first scoreboard comes out. And last week my team was in 5 days. I was only in 2 days because of a sick shoulder. And during those 2 days, I've made 66 phone calls, right? And spoke to over 20 clients. Decent hit rate. I'll take it. And I'm like, my colleagues were in a whole week. It's game time. They're going to have like over 100 calls. I mean, the guy that was number two behind me, the same guy that just got named captain, had 24 for the entire week.
Oh, geez.
So, and I saw that and I laughed because I was thinking that I'm going crazy, that I'm not doing my work. In the
Yeah.
meantime, I'm the only one doing the actual work and not being sidetracked with, you
Yeah.
know, BS. So I can't tell you how good that felt because it was just such a proof statement. And I'm like, I can't let myself fall into that thinking again. I need to
Yeah.
remember this so that I don't need a proof. statement that this is true. I know that this is true. And I got to keep
Yeah,
that with me because I know what I'm doing. I know I'm running a good business and I'm confident about it. And the
yeah,
way I do it, I like it. I'm
totally.
good.
That would be an amazing scenario to do this whole experiment on again, right? And write out the situation. My boss told me this. This is like how I felt, blah, blah. And that's a great example to do this whole process on. Because here's the thing. These people that are in our lives are just characters playing a role for us. And so this again might be just another feeling that you're used to feeling, and he's just being this character for you. I know sometimes it's like hard to swallow, but um
No, it's true because my boss is amazing, but I'm still traumatized from other bosses. And him and I
yeah,
actually spoken about that. He's like, it's not me, is it? I'm like, no, you give me a safe environment and I appreciate everything you do for me, but I still have leftover unhealed parts
yeah,
of myself that are repeating certain
yeah,
scenarios again.
yeah. So I would do this process with that scenario and just pl- play that out.
Thank you. And thanks for letting me share.
Yeah, of course. Thanks
It's
for
a strong feeling for me. So I needed to tell somebody. You
yeah,
guys are for the first ones to hear.
I get it. Thank you for sharing. Well, I love you ladies. I just am proud of all of the work that you continue to do and the willingness to look at yourselves and look at the patterns and so that we can shift and change.
Thank you for everything.
Thank
Yeah.
you. Love you both. Have a
Bye.
good night
Good
Good night.
night.
and see you next week. Thanks for this. This process was awesome.
It was.
Again,
I'm glad you enjoyed it.
Bye.
eye-opening, tear-jerking, all the good stuff.
Yeah.
Bye.
Bye.